So Viddal Riley stops Anees Taj in the 4th round. This was a rematch they fought earlier on this year. The first fight got stopped on a cut. According to Ben Shalom, the reason they had this rematch is because Anees Taj was harassing Viddal Riley, basically pestering on social media to have it because he wasn't happy with the way the first fight ended. He felt like he was going to get to Viddal Riley eventually. So whether you want to believe that excuse, that's up to you. The rematch happened and Viddal Riley boxed better in this fight. The first fight didn't go long. This fight only went 4 rounds, but he was more effective this time, Viddal Riley. He was landing cleaner shots. He controlled the action. Anees Taj showed heart. He showed toughness, but ultimately he was completely outclassed. Viddal Riley got caught with a couple shots in the 4th round, and that kind of spurred Anees Taj on. And it looked as though Riley was maybe a little buzzed, but he remained calm, he moved around, and he answered very, very well because he ripped body shots into Anees Taj, which he didn't like. One of them did stray low, and Taj got a little bit of time to recover, but it would seem as though Riley wasn't convinced that that shot was that low, and that it was more a case of Taj being badly affected by at least one legitimate body punch. And so as soon as the action resumed, Viddal Riley went straight back to the body again. And it paid off because Taj was hurt. You go especially and watch the slow-mo. Taj was hurt with the body shots when Riley follows up. And he tries to complain that they were low again. Those ones definitely weren't low. When they come back together and Viddal Riley starts going at him, yeah, those body shots weren't low. They were good, solid shots. Taj was hurt by those body shots. Riley found a weakness because he was hitting him in the face and it was having no effect. Once he started hitting him in the body, yeah, it weakened the foundations. And then he came back upstairs to the head, managed to drop Anees Taj against the ropes, nearly hit him when he was down, but the punch actually missed, fortunately. Taj did get up, he fought on, but Riley stepped in, rocked Taj's head back with a combination of shots. The towel came in and the referee stopped it at the same time. So I thought it was a really good performance by Viddal Riley. As I said in my preview video, early on in Viddal Riley's career, I really didn't see where the talent was. But I think he was very rusty. He must have been very rusty. All that time he had away from boxing, training YouTubers and stuff like that. So when he eventually, turned pro and came back to actual boxing himself, he lost his step a little bit, I would say. Because in his last couple fights, the fight he had before Taj, the first Taj fight, and the first Taj fight, and certainly the second Taj fight, yeah, I can see some talent there with Viddal Riley. And he had Richard Riakporhe at ringside watching, but he acknowledges that Riakporhe is, much further on in his career at this point, so he doesn't see Riakporhe as a rival. But Chev Clark was also there in attendance. I can only imagine that Chev Clark was there to watch Viddal Riley as a potential opponent. Surely he wasn't there to watch that Fury guy. There's another Fury brother who looks like a pound shop version of Tyson Fury, the way he fights anyway. Surely Chev Clark weren't there to watch him. He must have been there to watch Viddal Riley. And, I've said this before, from what I've seen of both of them, to me, Viddal Riley looks the more talented of the two. But I would like to see them fight. Viddal Riley, I think, is 8-9-0, something like that now. Chev Clark, I think, is 6-0. Or is it the other way around? I forget now. It might be that Chev Clark is 8-9-0 and Viddal Riley is 6-0. Either way, they're very close in terms of the number of fights they've had. I think Riley looks a lot more impressive. And if you compare their most recent performances, when Chev Clark fought the other weekend, that guy that he fought, I'm saying is not even as good as Taj. I would like to see, in fact, Chev Clark fight Anees Taj next. If Taj can get himself together again, obviously, getting stopped like that, it can take a lot out of you, physically, mentally, neurologically sometimes. But if we can get the same version of Taj that existed prior to these fights with Riley, going in there against Chev Clark, it will give us a good gauge to see where they're both at and how they might do against each other. Obviously, styles make fights, so, these comparisons aren't always going to tell you everything, but they can give you kind of a rough idea. So I'd like to see Chev Clark fight Anees Taj and see how he deals with him, because I don't think he'd do the kind of job that Viddal Riley did. I think Chev Clark is more stiff. He's not as fast as Viddal Riley, doesn't have the kind of footwork, the fluidity, the punch variety. Chev Clark's very right-hand happy. Clark's main thing really is the punching power and the physical strength, because he does appear to be very physically strong, and there's definitely power there. But there's also vulnerability in terms of punch resistance for Chev Clark. Doesn't move his head that much. bit one-dimensional. So we'll see. Viddal Riley says he's going to target an English title fight, maybe in his next fight or the fight after that. And surely Chef Clark will be looking to do something similar. If one of them fights for the British cruiserweight title, maybe if they win it, you'll have the other guy been made mandatory. That would seem to be a logical thing for the British Boxing Board of Control to do. So let's see. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about Viddal Riley, his performance here against Anees Taj. Were you impressed? Now, look, I'm not saying that he looked like a world beater just yet, but for a fighter who's, 6-0, 25 years of age, I thought it was a good performance. Yeah, he got clipped a couple times in that 4th round, but he came straight back and rectified it. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think.